Greetings survivors and friends, Shadowfrax here, and just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water, all that aquatic stuff I've been rambling on about just splashed down on staging, and so today we're going to take a good deep dive into what it entails. All of this will be going live on the release branch with the Forced Whip on August the 5th. Just remember, because it's still being developed, every figure, number, cost, amount and detail I mention in this vid is... You know what? I don't need to say it anymore. I think you get the idea. But first, subscribe to the channel for the up-to-datest updates and other stuff, subject to change. So, water looks different now. The visibility has been upped. It's more turquoise, which is nice. Plus, there are actual visible fishy fish swimming about in it. Not interact withable, mind. The visibility has been increased, so you can actually see the new underwater labs from more than 3 feet away. In fact, you can see them from the surface now in some places. Not that their locations are a secret. They're plastered all over the shop, and I'm counting 12 on a 3.5K map at the moment. Although, you know the drill. As mentioned previously, these are Rust's first procedurally generated monuments, as opposed to being static and just procedurally placed like the others. So every visit to one of these will be like the first. Some are large and some are small, but all are made up of a randomized collection of rooms and tunnels, and with multiple floors to explore. Oh my goodness, they're just copying Subnautica. Well, to be fair, these do look a lot more depressing, which is great. Just imagine a large, second-hand modular hamster hotel, but with better loot and even angrier inhabitants. There's a lot to unpack here, but you can expect to find keycard puzzles, keycards themselves, a wide variety of loot with new visuals for ammo, food and medical crates, etc. Not sure if this will become standard elsewhere. Computer stations through which you can monitor various cameras in the lab in question. And mountable toilets! Some labs even have bar areas with a kitchen, arcade machine, boombox and poker table, along with a few of them containing vending machines that sell clothing items at the moment. It's not exactly super dry, but if you're ever stuck underwater without a coat, it's handy. Oh yes, and you might be welcomed by 1 or 2 dwellers hanging out here, who at the moment are the same as the ones you meet in the train tunnels, and they're naturally pleased to see you as always. Each lab has a moon pool point of entry which you can swim into if you want. You don't necessarily have to be in a sub, but it could well be a good idea, and we'll get to that in a minute. Regular viewers will know there are 2 subs, and these will be available from the Guardians of the Sacred Boat spawner at all good fishing villages. Where do they keep all this stuff? We don't know. The solo costs 200 scrap and the duo costs 300 at the moment, but this, along with everything else, is of course you know what. The solo sub has a fuel tank on the outside and room for 1 person. Surprise, surprise. Duo has 2 seats which can be swapped between with X if you need to pilot it alone, with the fuel kept behind the rear one, and gauges at the front for depth, fuel and speed. There's also a sonar panel which isn't working yet, but might burst into life next month instead, and should help you align yourself with moonpool entrances. The controls for both subs are very simple. WAS to steer, go forward and reverse, hold control to dive, and shift to surface, and F's the light switch. They can both be stood on while stationary or moving at the surface, and thanks to the rocket launchers glued to their undercarriages, both subs can be weaponized with torpedoes. There are 2 available, Laurel and Hardy, and we now know the difference. Laurel is direct and will fire straight in front of you. Hardy is a surface boy and will fire up and out. Perfect for surprising the odd sailor. They're both workbench level 2 items and can be researched for 75 scrap each. They currently cost 1 metal pipe and 30 powder each to craft. They're not in the tech trees yet, and I'm not sure where you'll be finding them either. You can see the stats for both here, with the only difference at the moment being the range. All of this is, of course... Go on. Say it in your head. Right, so, what's worse than sharks? Yep, flying sharks, with laser beams attached to their heads. Okay, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. They're not supposed to fly though, right? Right? I'm gonna say no. It'll probably be fixed soon. Maybe even by the time you're watching this. And I also wouldn't get too hung up about them being everywhere and ready to nibble your bum as soon as you breathe near the water. They probably will have their limits, but this is all yet to be confirmed by the team, and they're highly work in progress right now. As you can see, I'm just waiting for someone to make a Sharknado plugin. They do appear to have only 20 health right now, and although yes, they can be murdered with a torpedo if you hit them right in the swim bladder, it's probably better and more cost effective to use the new spear gun. This is basically a moist crossbow with lower range and without attachments, and the ammo is the same as wooden arrows but with lower velocity. You can't research them right now either, which might mean you'll just be finding or buying them, but we'll have to wait and see. As a side note, if you want to witness the process of creating a spear gun, the artist Tom posted a time-lapse on his channel, and I'll pop a link to that in the description for you. It may be that fishing villages will be added to, I think. There is an extra as yet unstaffed shop, and I'm hazarding that this could be where you'll, generally speaking, acquire things for murdering fish and associated paraphernalia. Or I could be wrong. As you should have seen last week, fishing rods work now. They're currently a default blueprint for 10 rope and 200 wood, although this may change.
That I in the first fish shouldn't be capitalised, should it?
Oh, hi Grammar Horse. Yes, I think you're right. Probably just a slip of the finger though.
Fish finger?
Ha! You'd better believe it.
Oh, and does the Rustichet egg still say it's off-store instead of offshore?
Oh, for sure. But then, technically, you could get it off the store, I guess.
That's true. Maybe that's what they meant. What about the Champagne Boomer description?
Yep, that's still totally scuffed.
Oh, smashing.
Anyway, enough of the seahorse, back to fishing. It's pretty much as I showed you last week, except now there's no progress bar when reeling in. Load up your rod with up to 20 bait, and this could be all sorts of things, including fish, raw meats, fruit, berries, veg, and also new worms and grubs, although I'm not sure where you'll be getting these yet. All have their own bait rating, and this determines the rarity of fish you're likely to catch. To begin, hold right-click on the water to select a spot and left-click to cast. When you get a nibble, you use A and D to pull left and right and S to reel in. The trick is not to strain your rod too much or your string will snap. You've just got to tease it in real gentle like. There are a number of things to hook, including anchovy, herring, sardine, small trout, yellow perch, salmon, orange roughy, and small sharks. But, you ask,
Ugh, why me catch fish if they just for food? Why use food to get food?
Well, it's very simple, because the last three I mentioned will also give you some random loot they swallowed when you gut them, and you can also get scrap for them at the Fish Exchange, or Bureau de Fish as I call it, a vending machine that has shown up at the fishing villages. You'll also stand a chance when fishing to catch tarp, fins, bottles, buckets, and even human skulls. Yum. According to the commits today, fish traps also now stand a chance of catching anchovy, herring and sardine, with trout being much rarer. All in all, this is going to be a very fishy update indeed. I'm sure there will be more adjustments, and I'll be able to give you greater detail in next week's vid, so stay tuned. In other news, Twitch drops are moving to bi-monthly with the next round in September, and all streamer drops will switch to general drops for the last 24 hours of the campaign. Just in case, you know, there are no complaints about not being able to complete your Gamer Girl Garage Door collection, etc. Also, in case you didn't see, the winner of the map making competition was announced this week, and I made a video about it, so go and watch that straight after this one for the full tour. Gravis Island will be getting used on a few official small servers, including EU Smalls 1, 3 and 6 and US Smalls 1 and 3, although there may be others, and I'll let you know when I know properly. The number one question was, of course, can I run this map on my own server? And the answer is, that's up to Facepunch to decide, and they haven't said yet, so you'll just have to wait to find out. Sorry. I'll be streaming from a Staging Branch server tonight on Twitch and trying to break everything you see here, so if you want to tune in and suggest things, then please follow me there, link in the description. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group to stay up to date with my content, and support the channel directly via Patreon, or by buying a Subject to Change mug. I shall catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm, and stay rusty. Cheerio. This video is powered by AWDIT's producer range of workstation PCs available now at awdit.co.uk. Laser beams attached to their heads.